Really? Oh my God. Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye. Alright, Rishi, you're the one. Tell me, what's it mean?
Reciting Srimad Bhagavatam, we pay our obeisances to Narayan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, and to Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and to Srila Vyasadeva, the author.
Jai. Shrinvatam Svagata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Vidyantas Vaya Bhadrani Bhakti Bhavati Naishtaki. No, that's not there. Vidhunoti Sahitsatam. Sorry, I haven't done this in a while actually. Okay, you tell me. Someone.
I think you're testing us.
No, I actually I skipped to the next verse.
Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is Paramatma in everyone's heart and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses the heart of the material desire of a devotee who
themselves
loves to hear his messages, which are in themselves worshipped and properly heard and chanted.
Jai. So, we'll cleanse our heart of material desires. And now the last thing. Nashtaprayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. Alright, someone tell me. By regular
attendance on classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering service to the pure devotees, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed. In loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact.
Right. So let's cleanse our heart of material desires, which are giving us all of our troubles, and let that be cleansed, and we'll get love of God instead. So that sounds like a good deal. So, oh, yes. I don't know how to make it look good though. All right, so we did 40. I think we're on 42 on my thing. Are you sure we didn't read 41? I think we did.
I remember on YouTube it was 1940.
Yeah. So I'll read 40, the English. Yes, this is very nice. This is the perfection at death. Bhishma, for all of you, have you guys not read this in all this time? It's been a month, 5 weeks since
Actually, Kendra Prabhu started on this verse.
Oh, very
We
good.
had him read this.
Oh, okay, very good. So Kendra Prabhu, you guys were very fortunate that you had a Kendra Prabhu. Krishna sent a very senior devotee to come and bless you guys. So this is a very, very, really nice verse. Bhishma, if we're remembering, right, in the war he fell down, he's on the bed of arrows. You don't need to get it. And then now he's remembering Krishna. You know, he instructed Yudhishthir on all of the levels of dharma, what's one's duty in life. And actually you see that Yudhishthir did that. Pratipanena became humble before Bhishma. Then Pariprashnena, he's asking him all kinds of questions. And then now, you know, he actually rendered him the ultimate service. What did he do for him? What did Yudhishthira do for Bhishma?
He brought Krishna.
He brought Krishna. He brought like the very perfection of his life right there to him. What a service that is. So now Bhishma is meditating on Krishna, and then in this verse it says, Lalita gati vilasi valguhasa pranaya nirikshana kalpitoru manaha kritamanukrit vatya unmadandaha prakriti magan kila yasya gopavadvaha. Let my mind be fixed upon Lord Sri Krishna, whose motions and smiles of love attracted the damsels of Rajadam, the gopis. The damsels imitated the characteristic movements of the Lord after his disappearance from the Ras dance. So he's talking about certain pastimes. I don't know if you know. This is actually like the pinnacle of Srimad Bhagavatam. Well, it's getting to be the pinnacle of Srimad Bhagavatam. And, Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan, they were like going around. People heard. Bhishma heard, others heard. But only few actually recognized Krishna's position. But Bhishma was one of the ones who recognized Krishna's position. And now he's meditating actually on the highest level of things. So Bhishma has a completely different, you could say, mood of service to the Lord than the residents of Vrindavan. He fights with the Lord. Imagine that's your relationship with the Lord. Actually, Krishna has a wife named Satyabhama. And the way she relates with Krishna, she's always fighting with Krishna. Actually, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he had an associate who it's said to be Satyabhama's, incarnation, Jagadananda Pandit. And Jagadananda Pandit would always fight with Lord Chaitanya, but it was out of love. It was loving fighting. This can happen. Some of you might have someone in your family member that you always bicker with, always fighting, but it's because you love each other. It should be because you love each other, but there's always some like tension or fighting like this. So anyway, this happens. So Bhishma happens to be, he's a servant of the Lord, but he got caught due to his own honor and vows on the wrong side of the war. So he was fighting with the Lord. But now that the fight was over and he lost, he's now meditating on the Lord in the highest way, in his very intimate pastimes of Raj in Vrindavan, where the moods are so sublime and so dear to Krishna that they conquer Krishna themselves. It's on the platform of Madhuryam, or it's very sweet. All the pastimes are very sweet, and they don't even know that he is God. They just want to love him in the most intimate of ways. Just like, I don't know the relationship between Donald Trump and his son, but I imagine his relationship is different than all the relationship of the rest of us here who either hate him or love him in some way. But this is the nature of Krishna and his devotee. The very, very intimate devotees, they don't see him as the God of the universe. The Aishwarya, or this level of understanding, Krishna is the supreme God, the controller, the punisher, the one who's going to, who we all should fear naturally due to his greatness. They don't see him like that. He's just like the silly boy who does this thing or that thing, and he does so many wonderful pastimes. So anyway, Bhishma actually had heard about Krishna's pastimes in this way. He had taken a great interest in Krishna, and so he's meditating on this actually. And then now he's talking about the next verse. He was talking about a personal experience that he had, and that was Muni Gananripa Varya Sankulentaha Sadasi Yudhisthira Rajasuya Esham Arhanamupa Peda Ikshaniyo Mama Drishigo Trida Esha Aviratma. And he said, at the Rajasuya Yagya sacrifice performed by Maharaj Yudhishthira, there was the greatest assembly of all the elite men of the world, the royal and learned orders. And in that great assembly, Lord Sri Krishna was worshipped by one and all as the most exalted personality of Godhead. This happened during my presence, and I remembered the incident in order to keep my mind upon the Lord. So he actually personally was there for this. All the great sages were there, so many great personalities were there, and they were debating who should be placed on the throne. And it was argued Krishna should be. And he was placed on the throne as the first to be worshipped, which is it's always reserved for the greatest personality. Actually, Maharaj Yudhishthira, he only wanted to have the Rajasuya Yagya for that purpose. He didn't need all the auspicious blessings and things like that. That wasn't so attractive. Because what is the devotee? What are they interested in doing? Yes, pleasing the Lord, giving pleasure to the Lord. That we, in our conditioned nature, we're only interested in serving ourselves, only our own ambitions. Yes, like that. And but the devotee, a genuine devotee, a real devotee, someone who's not practicing mixed bhakti, but someone who's practicing pure bhakti, their self is not at all the consideration. What they're focused on is, how can I give pleasure to Krishna? And Yudhisthira wanted to give pleasure to Krishna. He said, what do I have? I conquered the whole world. I will do the greatest sacrifice, and then Krishna will be placed on the throne as the number one person to be worshipped. This will be my offering to him. So like that. And Bhishma was there for that. And now I think we're on 42, right? Are you sure? Did we read the purport? Yes, we did. Okay. All right. Repeat after me. Tami mamaham ajam sharira bhajam. Hridi hridishtitam atma kalpitanam. Pratidrishami vanaikadarkamekam. Samadhi gatosmi viduta beda moha. Tam, that personality of Godhead. Imam, now present before me. Aham, I. Ajam, the unborn. Sharira bhajam, of the conditioned soul. Hridi, in the heart. Hridi, in the heart. Dishlitam, situated. Atma, the super soul. Kalpitanam, of the speculators. Pratidrisham, in every direction. Eva, like. Na ikatha, not one. Arkam, the sun. Ekam, one only. Samadhi gataha, Samadhi gataha asmi. I have undergone trance and meditation. Viduta, being freed from. Veda moha, misconception of duality. That's very nice. Now, before I read the translation, I should mention it's Madhavendra Puri's disappearance today. Madhavendra Puri is the Param Guru of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what great men do, common men follow. This is a verse in the Bhagavad Gita, right? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he had taken a guru. He didn't need to take a guru, but it's showing what one should do. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu especially is showing one exactly how to be a devotee. He is the Lord's incarnation of how to be a devotee, how to be a proper devotee. And so he took a guru whose name was Ishwara Puripad. Now, Ishwara Puri was the ideal guru, which was, imagine how ideal you have to be for the Lord. It says, I want you to be my guru. So this is how ideal Ishwara Puri was. But Ishwara Puri, actually, his guru was Madhavendra Puri. And there's many pastimes in the Chaitanya Charitamrita of Madhavendra Puri. Maybe, I don't know how much time, or I'd have to dredge my memory, and I'll probably mess something up. But Madhavendra Puri helped establish worship of the Gopal deity in Vrindavan, in Govardhan in specific. He was the, I think his samadhi is around Govardhan. We visit it every time we do parikram. He's the topmost type of personality, and actually he is the first person in this material world, at least in this planet, in this universe, that the Madhurya Ras had actually come to this world. Where that's usually reserved in the spiritual world for Krishna. But in this world, in this time, in this place, Madhavendra Puri was the inaugurator of such worship. And he was so dear to, there's many, you might have heard of the Shirachora Gopinath deity. Yes, so there's a very special pastime that he was such a pure devotee. He established, well, for one, the Gopal deity, I think it's Madan Gopal, but I don't know for sure. The Gopal deity in Govardhan, he had a vision, I think some young girl or young boy, I forget. But it was, he ended up realizing it was Krishna himself had visited him while he was in meditation and disturbed his meditation. And I'm messing up the story. But actually he had gotten wind that Krishna, a deity of Krishna, was nearby, and it was buried. And then when he was in meditation on how to find this deity, then I think a young cowherd boy brought his attention to a cow that would go to the top of Govardhan and she would drop her milk into the soil there. So somehow or other, Madhavendra Puri realized that this must be where the deity is. Why would the cow go and give her milk there? So he actually unburied, he got the townspeople to unbury the spot, and actually there was a Gopal deity, an ancient Gopal deity of Krishna there. So Madhavendra, so this is the type of level that Madhavendra Puri is, where Krishna will literally come to him in his dreams and tell him where he is. So Madhavendra Puri then started establishing this elaborate worship of the Gopal deity. And so we follow many of our worship practices from Madhavendra Puri's. The way he worshipped Gopal. We hold many of our festivals, our Anakut festivals. How to especially prepare prasadam for the deities. That's actually coming from Madhavendra Puri. Second thing is the Shira Chora Gopinath. You might have heard about this pastime.
Puri?
No, it's on the way. I think it's in Ramuna. Ramuna, yeah. So it's on the way to Puri from Vrindavan. But Madhavendra Puri was instructed by his Gopal deity that he's sick and he's overheating and fever, and that he needs sandalwood from, I think in Puri. Yeah, they have very good sandalwood there. Is that the case?
Yes.
This is famous? I don't know. So anyway, so Madhavendra Puri went to go get, he had many pujaris now worshipping the Gopal deity, and so he was free to go get the best sandalwood for the Gopal deity. But on the way, there was a deity of Gopinath in Ramuna, and it was worshipped very nicely. So Madhavendra Puri saw the offerings that they were making for him, and they were making kheer. They were making kheer for Gopinath. Kheer, you know, it's milk and rice. It's like a rice pudding almost, but it's like very, very delicious. Especially in India, the way they make kheer, it's just so good. But Madhavendra Puri, I think he smelled it, he saw it, and he's like, "Wow, this looks so good," you know. But he didn't care for his own. What did he want to do? He wanted to offer it to Gopal. He was saying, I want to offer this. I want to taste it so I know what the ingredients are like so that I can know. But then he thought about it, and in his mind he felt he made a great offense. This is for Gopinath's enjoyment. Why am I look how much of a brute I am. I want to taste what is for the Lord. You know, and because devotees are naturally humble. Even though he wanted to do it for Gopal's pleasure. So what ended up happening was that the pujari had collected the kheer after the offering, and then they distributed it out. And Madhavendra Puri left because he was disgusted with himself. But in the dream the next day, the pujari, he's saying he got a dream that Gopinath appeared to him in a dream, and he said, I have put aside a bowl of kheer behind my curtain over here, and I want you to give this to Madhavendra Puri. So the pujari is like tripping out, you know. With pujaris, this is like that. Anyone who worships the deity very intimately, they'll get such a relationship with the deity that the deity can come to them in their dreams and instruct them. And so actually this happened to this pujari. So when this happens, he naturally, the Lord appeared to me in my dream. I have to fulfill his desire. So what he did, he when he woke up, he checked behind the curtain, and sure enough, there was the bowl of kheer that I guess he's called Shira Chora Gopinath. He stole the kheer. He was a thief of the kheer. Why? For Madhavendra Puri. So the next day, Madhavendra Puri came to the temple, and the pujari is calling out, "Who is Madhavendra Puri? Who is Madhavendra Puri? Who is Madhavendra Puri?" And then Madhavendra Puri eventually humbly says, "That is me. How do you know who I am?" And he told him, "Gopinath appeared to me in the dream. He wants you to taste this because you want to give it to Gopal," and so on. And lo and behold, he tasted it. And then Madhavendra Puri, eventually, there's many more pastimes with Madhavendra Puri, but we won't have time. When he did get back to Vrindavan eventually, and he had delivered the sandalwood to the Lord in the way it was supposed to go, that's a whole nother story. I'm not getting into it. But I can only tell one. but he would then now he would offer that type of kheer to Gopinath because he had learned the art, and the Lord actually stole that kheer just for him. So anyway, this is a pastime of Madhavendra Puri, but there's many. If you read the Chaitanya Charitamrita, a lot of the first few pastimes you hear about are Madhavendra Puris. Before you really get to Lord Chaitanya's later pastimes, you're going to get the context of Madhavendra Puri, which will lead to Ishvara Puri, which will lead to how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took his path in this world. So, Madhavendra Puri Pad Ki Jai. All right, so that's our duty to honor him on this day. Now, let's read the translation and purport. Now I can meditate with full concentration upon that one Lord, Sri Krishna, now present before me, because now I have transcended the misconceptions of duality in regard to his presence in everyone's heart. Even in the hearts of the mental speculators, he is in everyone's heart. The sun may be perceived differently, but the sun is one. We notice something. It's not with the sun, it was the moon. But when we see the moon in its phases here, it goes left to right. You know, you've seen that, the moon, when it goes through its phases, the shadow will go left to right. But where we were in Mayapur, it goes up and down. And we were like, whoa. But that's actually what I thought of when I just read that. You know, it's the same moon, it's the same phases, but it's just from the perspective, it looks different. So actually the Lord is like this. So anyway, purport. Lord Sri Krishna is the one absolute Supreme Personality of Godhead, but he has expanded himself into his multiplanary portions by his inconceivable energy. Plenary is like an absolute portion, like a direct portion of him coming into into this world. So he has many aspects of himself, many forms of Vishnu, things like that. So kind of what it would mean through multiplanary. By his inconceivable energy. The conception of duality is due to ignorance of his inconceivable energy. In the Bhagavad Gita 9:11, the Lord says that only the foolish take him to be a mere human being. Such foolish men are not aware of his inconceivable energies. By his inconceivable energy, he is present in everyone's heart, as the sun is present before everyone all over the world. The Paramatma feature of the Lord is an expansion of his plenary portions. He expands himself as Paramatma in everyone's heart by his inconceivable energy, and also expands himself as the glowing effulgence of Brahmajyoti by expansion of his personal glow. So it's saying that the Lord is one, but we're all looking, no one's saying, oh, this is my sun, this is the Western sun, oh, this is the Eastern sun. You know, it might look a little different, like in the East, the sun has a more reddish glow, we know, rising than here. But it's the same sun. So anyway, the Lord is like this. He's in everyone's heart. And he's present before everyone all over the world. The Paramatma feature of the Lord is an expansion of his plenary portions. He expands himself as Paramatma in everyone's heart by his inconceivable energy. And he expands himself as the glowing effulgence of Brahmajyoti. It is stated in the Brahma Samhita that the Brahmajyoti is his personal glow. Therefore, there is no difference between him and his personal glow. Brahmajyoti or his plenary portions is Paramatma. Less intelligent persons who are not aware of this fact consider Brahmajyoti and Paramatma to be different from Sri Krishna. This misconception of duality is completely removed from the mind of Bhishmadev, and he is now satisfied that it is Lord Sri Krishna only who is all in everything. So just to give you some context, what are the three ways that people approach the Lord? It's mentioned in Bhagavad Gita and in Srimad Bhagavatam. There's a very famous verse in Srimad Bhagavatam.
Why we approach
What are the three aspects? The three aspects of the Lord.
Brahman,
Paramatma.
Paramatma,
Yes.
and Bhagavan.
Brahman, which is the absolute truth. You could say also the illuminating light of the Lord, the energy of the Lord. Paramatma, the source of every jiva. Every single jiva's source is actually the Lord. And only the great yogis can recognize that. And then also the last feature is what?
Bhagavan.
Bhagavan. So some people have Brahman realization. Actually, to be a Brahman is one who understands Brahma. One who understands the absolute truth via the spiritual energy emanating all things. The Paramatma realized yogi, they realized that even it's the source of every living entity as well, is that Supreme Lord. And He's manifesting with thousands of faces, thousands of arms, thousands of this, that, and the other. This is Paramatma realization. The yogi can see like this. And then Bhagavan realization is understanding the Lord's incarnations when He comes. And there's many avatars of the Lord. But that's that one Supreme Person coming to illuminate. So anyway, this is kind of a heavy topic today, but this is what's being described. So now Bhishma Dev realized the synthesis of all of this. He realized that this one Supreme Person is now before him in the Bhagavan feature. And he should just focus on Him now. There's no other impersonal meditation he needs to do. He doesn't need to chant Om. He doesn't need to do all of these other... he doesn't need to close his eyes and go within and try and discover the Paramatma. He's got everything he needs right before him. He is Bhagavan right in front of him. So he's fixing his meditation. He's actually in full samadhi. You know what... Actually, they've quantified what actually qualifies for meditation. You know dhyana, right? In the Bhagavad Gita 6th chapter, they talk about dhyana yoga. Dhyana is what? What's that? It's meditation. Dhyana is meditation. So what makes one in dhyana, in meditation, is dharana. What's dharana? I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. Dharana.
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 Dharana is your conception.
No, not that one.
Concentration.
Concentration.
Dharana Shakti.
Yeah, dharana is to concentrate. So when you can fix, when you're in a state of fixed dharana, then you achieve dhyana. And if you're in a state of fixed dhyana, you're fully in meditation, nothing breaks it, then what's that called? Samadhi. Yes. So this is actually, this is the progression of the 8 limbs of Ashtanga Yoga.
I think dharana is intent.
It could be, but it's
If the intent is right, you can shift towards focus on what meditation,
yes. The way I've always seen it translated is concentration, but if it could that you need an intent to concentrate, so it might be very similar related.
because the word dharana is always used with intent. Aapki dharana kaise, like what was your intent behind that?
Yeah.
There's multiple also like for Sanskrit in the
It's
context.
very different, depending on the context.
Yeah. So it's good. We should know the meanings of words.
No, I'm just saying it could be both.
Yeah,
Like
sure it
depending on
is.
the
I'm
context.
sure there's never usually one meaning, especially in Sanskrit.
Yeah.
But anyhow, so Bhishma he's in full samadhi because his dharana, whether it's intent or concentration, is fully fixed on Krishna, and he's in a state of dhyana, meditation. There's nothing else he's focusing on, and actually this leads him to full samadhi, full transcendental bliss. This is the perfection of what one should do upon dying. So he's in this right now. So any misconception of duality is completely removed from the mind of Bhishma Dev, and he is now satisfied that it is Lord Sri Krishna only who is all in everything. This enlightenment is attained by the great Mahatmas or devotees, as it is stated in Bhagavad Gita 7:19, that Vasudeva is all in everything, and that there is no existence of anything without Vasudeva. There's nothing but God. Everything is but God. Vasudeva, or Lord Sri Krishna, is the original Supreme Person, as now confirmed by a Mahajan. And therefore both the neophytes and the pure devotees must try to follow in his footsteps. That is the way of the devotional line. So when we're chanting the Maha Mantra, that's exactly what we should be doing. I know we're chanting Maha Mantra and the mind is here, the mind is there, and we're thinking about all our material problems. And maybe if we do pray to Krishna, we say like, hey, are you going to help me with my material problem, or things like that. But actually, the whole point, we were singing in the Jiv Jago prayer this morning, right? How it's a medication. The whole medication is to actually take your concentration on Krishna so that you can actually be fully immersed in Krishna. But actually, very important is you must have the dharan. And actually the dharan that Piyush was talking about. You have to have the intention. You have to have the desire. Only one who has the desire can achieve Krishna. He'll never come to anything other than pure bhakti. That's the only thing that can conquer him. If you think you're going to cheat Krishna, like, oh, well, I'll worship Krishna and he'll make me rich, or I'll just worship Krishna and he'll give me a wife, or I'll just worship Krishna and all these things. He'll cheat you. You'll get that thing, and then it'll make you realize something else, and then you'll want Krishna. I did this. I wanted to worship Krishna and get a wife. That was very important to me when I was in a very much more foolish stage. And then when I got the wife, and I was like, what do I do with her? And then through circumstances, it made me realize even more, and her realize more, we have to worship Krishna. So now I'm trying to focus on the thing I should have focused on at the first time. So that might happen to you. Maybe you're like, oh, I have all kinds of material problems. I want to be financially situated. I want to have my job. I want this. I want that. And I want the other thing. Yeah, Krishna might give you that. But then he'll cheat you. It'll cause you so much disturbance in another way. We're like, well, now what do I do? And then you'll end up doing the very thing that you should have done in the first place. Set your intention on Krishna. So Bhishma, he knows this. All of us, we should know this. But we don't. we somehow get deluded by Maya, the illusion, and so on. But now Bhishma has achieved this. The worshipable object of Bhishma Dev as Lord Sri Krishna is Parthasarathi. That's a nice name, huh, Parth? I did that before, Parth. Don't you worry. And that of the gopis is the same Krishna in Vrindavan as the most attractive Shyamasundar. Sometimes less intelligent scholars make a mistake and think that the Krishna of Vrindavan and that of the Battle of Kurukshetra are different personalities. But for Bhishma Dev, this misconception is completely removed. Even the impersonalist's object of destination is Krishna, as the impersonal Jyoti and the yogi's destination of Paramatma is also Krishna. Krishna is both Brahma Jyoti and localized Paramatma. But in Brahma Jyoti or Paramatma, there is no Krishna or sweet relations with Krishna. In his personal feature, Krishna is both Parthasarathi and Shyamasundar of Vrindavan. But in his impersonal feature, he is neither in the Brahma Jyoti nor in the Paramatma. Great Mahatmas like Bhishma Dev realized all these different features of Lord Sri Krishna, and therefore they worship Lord Krishna, knowing him as the origin of all features. So this is back to we talked about Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. They're all levels of truth, but one to the next it gets sweeter and more complete. It's like complete, more complete, and most complete. And Bhagavan in his personal feature is the most complete. So in our system, like even all the religions, they worship God. They have some realization of God. Doesn't matter. Muslims understand God. Christians understand God. Zoroastrians understand God. Jews understand God. No problem. Why not just practice any religion? What's the big deal? Our claim, Krishna's claim, and is that there's progressions. You will have something to do for eternity. For eternity, you will have a more complete understanding of the Lord and a more complete relationship. For eternity, forever. So there's always something to do. We're so used to in the material world trying to reach an objective and then be like, aha, I did it. And then it's over. Spiritual life isn't like that. Aha, I did it. You can't do it. You get to the next level only to realize how it can go deeper and deeper and more intimate and more intimate and more intimate. The gopis and Krishna, they're always competing with each other in how much more sweet the service can get. And it always increasing. It's ever increasing. What is that? It's a really nice verse, Lord Chaitanya, he said, and we'll end with this verse. He says, Naham vipro nacha narapatir napi vaishyo na shudro Naham Varni Nacha Grahapatir No Vanishto Yatirva Kintu Prodyan Paramananda Purnamritabdher Gopi Bartu Parakamalayor Dasadas Anudasaha. And that means I am not any of the 4 varnas, I am not any of the 4 ashrams, but the ever expanding ocean of bliss. This is Krishna. He's ever expanding, it's ever increasing. Kintu is, but Prodyan is that ever expanding. Paramananda, topmost bliss. Purnamritabdher. Purn is complete. Amrita, nectar. Abdher is like an ocean. This complete ocean of nectar. In what? Gopi Bartu, the maintainer of the gopis. And actually, we were talking about different meanings. Bartu also means he is maintained by the gopis, because Krishna is conquered by his devotees. Padakamalayur, his lotus feet. I am the das anudas, dasa das anudas. I am the servant of the servant of the servant of that Gopi Bartu. So it's an ever expanding ocean of bliss, service to Krishna. So actually, this is our process. So Bhishma here, he is realizing that at the time of death, and he is about to leave. I think in the next verse. Yes, he leaves in the next verse. But we'll read that tomorrow. But anyway, the next few days we're going to do like seminars here. Our service is going to be learning. That's we did this for a month, and it was so important, and we were actually ready to take action properly. If I just tell you, do this, but I don't actually give you a comprehensive reasons why we're doing this, all these things, it's so much less effective. So we're going to do seminars the next few days. But anyhow, Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srimad Avendra Puripad ki, Jai. Mantra Central devotees ki, Jai. Thank you for joining online. Thank you for joining.